Need of a victory. You know how well they started off, but they had dropped a couple in a row. Taking on a New Orleans Saints team on the road that was desperate for a victory of its own. Thursday night football from New Orleans. And you know the story for Dallas. Dan Quinn, hat backwards as he's filling in for Mike McCarthy on the COVID list. Taysom Hill making first start of the season at quarterback. We're scoreless, and Hill here, pass is incomplete and it looks awful. Well, his hand hits the arm of Dorrance Armstrong. He looked at on the sidelines. It clearly bothered him throughout the game. Dak Prescott here to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee down the sidelines. Is he going to get in? No. Stopped short at the 1. Lamb back after missing the previous game with a concussion. Michael Gallup, corner of the end zone. What a throw, but an even better grab as Gallup up high, grabs, spins, got to get both feet in. He does that, and the Cowboys take a lead, and you see that's good news. Entering this game, they're 5-0 when they score first. Back on the field, Hill, 3rd and 8. This is what he's been doing since his BYU days. Take off and run. Drive still alive. Ladies and gentlemen, are you familiar with Lil Jordan Humphrey? Because he's in the end zone. Game's tied at 7s. 2:28 to go in the first half. Saints, 1st and 10, trailing by 3. Hill looking for Kenny Stills, off his hands and picked by Jaron Kearse. This is a tremendous grab as he grabs it, hangs on, gets the feet inbounds. Cowboys' 16th interception of the season. They're tied for 2nd in the league. They add a field goal. In the 3rd, Tony Pollard takes off, and what's Marcus Williams doing? Baffling to me. Who are you pointing at? He's got a different sort of a gear. Does 20. That's the longest Cowboys touchdown run since 2016. Again, Hill's finger's a mess. All right, let's just run it and see what happens. He hurdles DeMonte KZ there. Drive still alive. It's 20-10. Look at Micah Parsons. This is 3rd and 10. It's his 5th straight game with a sack, and he sacks them out of field goal range. What a monster that guy is. All right, 1st and 10. Get the ball back. Hill. Hit as he throws. KZ makes the interception. Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, loving that. 3 to go. Hill. Picked by Trayvon Diggs. Actually, 5 to go, I beg your pardon. And then there's another pick. Carlos Watkins. I see a big fella. Bit of a mess in the 4th quarter for Quinn. A mess in the 4th quarter for Hill. But then, maybe not. Maybe Taysom's got some magic, Steve.
Maybe.
All right. Maybe not, but Deontay Harris. What do we have here? What do we have here? That's a 70-yard touchdown. We're going to need a lot to happen if you're a Saints fan, and it's going to start right here, or it will end right here. As the Saints had exhausted their timeouts, and mess of turnovers back and forth. Dallas wins by 10 on the road, and that Cowboys defense bounces back from that Thanksgiving dud, that penalty-marred mess. They allowed 36 and over 500 yards in that loss to the Raiders, allowing 28 first downs as well. Tonight, they allowed just 17. Late window dressing touchdown, 4 takeaways, including an interception on 3 consecutive drives to seal the game. Damian Woody is with us in studio. And Damian, you're a Cowboy fan, okay? And you've lost a couple games in a row. You see this performance. Is it enough to calm the concerns you might have about this team?
No, not at all.
Why not?
At all. Listen, first of all, coming into this game, I said they had to win this game. They did win this game, but anyone who watched this game, there's concerns on offense. I mean, this is a team that I think converted like 15% of their 3rd downs. You know, for all the firepower that the Dallas Cowboys have on offense, with Amari Cooper being back, C.D. Lamb being back, and so on and so forth, you would think that this team would look a little bit more explosive on offense, and they've really struggled against this New Orleans Saints defense.
Now, I agree with that. And I mean, because you've got Pollard, and we were talking about this as we watched it. I mean, when you talk about a change of pace back, normally it means to give your number one a break. The change of pace here is that 20 has a burst that 21 does not.
Right.
But if we're looking at Zeke and Dak in this game, which concern is more pressing?
Well, listen, I mean, obviously Zeke Elliott is hurt. I mean, there's no question about it. He has the knee injury. He's not the same Zeke that we've been accustomed to seeing, you know, and there's been talk about him getting some rest. But, I mean, Tony Pollard has just been lights out in the backfield. We saw it on that huge run towards the end of the game. Yep. Just shows you the explosiveness that he had. So, yeah, I know they're a tandem back there, but right now it's a Tony Pollard show in the backfield.
All right, as a man who made his living trying to prevent people on defense from getting to his quarterback, I wonder what you think when you see number 11 in blue playing for the Dallas Cowboys. We're talking about Micah Parsons, a young man out of Penn State. I mean, you talk about a chess piece, you talk about a guy that can contribute in unique ways. What do you see when you watch this young man play?
I haven't seen a guy like this come into the league in a long time. In a long time. I'm the type of guy that holds back superlatives. But this guy he's on another level. He's on another level. We can't talk about this guy being a rookie defensive player yet. He surpassed that like weeks ago. This guy's in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year of the whole league.
Not rookie.
Not rookie, but Defensive Player of the Year. That's the type of impact he's playing. He's an off-the-ball linebacker that has, like 10 sacks. That's just wrecking the game. He can legitimately play defensive end in this league and be an impact-type player.
All right, I want Giants fans to hear me say this very clearly, because I don't want you to feel like I'm going to blaspheme out here and say compare him to 56, because
Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor. I was freaking out for a second. Yeah. Lawrence Taylor's one of one.
Well, absolutely.
That said, what are we willing to say this guy could become if this is what he already is?
This guy is a game breaker. He is literally, Scott, I haven't seen a linebacker with this type of freakish athletic ability, and he's just scratching the surface. I think if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, I would leave him as a pass rusher.
Right.
That's how much of an impact that he has on his game. He doesn't even really know how to rush the passer like some of these other guys that's been playing that position for a long time.
But that 3rd and 2 play, which we showed, where it's still a 10-point game, you're close enough for a field goal attempt. And as you saw the play unfold, he diagnoses immediately what's going on and has the IQ to know the play and has the speed to get to the quarterback. It's like that changes the game. You get a field goal there, it's a one-score game. They were unable to do that all because of him. And you talk about the versatility of him on defense. It's just, I feel like it's rare that somebody that plays the positions he's playing is as versatile as he is. Am I imagining that?
No, not at all. I mean, this is a guy that obviously you see he's an off-the-ball linebacker. He can run. We saw him cover. We saw him covering this game against tight ends. Dropping coverage. Right. This guy, he's as fast as wide receivers, skill guys. That's how freakishly athletic he is at the linebacker spot. Again, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I want this guy going forward, because when he goes forward, he is wrecking the opposing offense.
All right, we're going to hear from Sean Payton. I need my producer, Marco, keep me honest here, because I got another one on Dallas. If it's time for Payton, just let me know. Okay, we'll get to Sean Payton here in a moment. But as for Dallas, and you know, you got some Washington football fans.
Yeah.
In this room. You understand who you're speaking to. You understand who your local audience is.
Right.
I mean, I'm not trying to put them in the playoff picture, although they are as a result of a couple wins. They played Dallas twice in 3 weeks with the Giants in the middle. What kind of path do you think Dallas has? What kind of opposition stands in their way? Is it formidable?
Absolutely. Remember, this is why the league has all of these divisional games.
I love it, don't you?
Towards the end of the year, because right now, Washington is just whispering to Dallas, "We here, we here."
But are they?
Yeah.
Do you think they are?
Yes.
Okay.
Washington. Listen, the Washington football team is playing a different brand of football since their bye week. They won 3 straight. The defense has been playing totally different football, really energized. Taylor Heineke is playing really, really good football. Curtis Samuel, who's coming back, is adding he's going to add another dimension to that Washington football team offense. So, listen, Dallas, don't sleep on those boys. Those boys are coming.
I didn't say it. He said it. You know, you see it.
You know, people back here just giggling and laughing. They ready.
Washington fans on the crew here, but
Yeah.
they play like a clock-eating brand of football. They did it against Tampa Bay. They did it against Seattle. Of course, they had the mess the other night where they didn't have a kicker, and it almost came back to bite them. But look, it would just be fun for the people that live in this town to have interesting football in December, and it looks like they might. All right, Sean Payton, I promised you'd hear from him. It's a disappointing loss, obviously, for the Saints. Here's their head coach after the 10.